What up, y'all? UFC 327 was dope. We got a new champ. Let's talk about it. Now, the first fight for UFC 327 was Charles Radtke versus Francisco Prado. And Charles Radtke went in there, did his thing, won basically every round, and got that decision victory in this fight. We don't really got to talk about it. Good win for you, Charles Radtke. Second fight up, we had Kelvin Gastelum versus Vicente Luque. And a shocker, Vicente Luque wins by submission. Kelvin Gastelum, I don't know what you were thinking. You were doing all right, and then you got caught. And that was kind of crazy considering that you are known for having a nice chin. And he dropped your ass. Vicente Luque dropped your ass. Yeah, I had to say that twice. Anyway, good win for Vicente Luque. You're back in the W column, so good win for you, man. Kelvin Gastelum, what the hell was that? Next one up, we had Chris Padilla versus Markel Medeiros. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, a draw is drawing. No way I had this fight a draw. I definitely had Chris Padilla winning a decision here. Even I was confused. Once I saw Chris Padilla win the decision, I was like, all right, perfect. That was a good call. But then moments later, it got reversed to a draw. No way in hell this fight was a draw. I had Chris Padilla 2-1, if not 3-0. Come on, let's be real. No way this was a draw. Highly disappointed in this. Chris Padilla definitely won. Next one up, we had Tatiana Suarez versus Lupi Godinez, and Tatiana came in here and got the submission win in the second round. It was a decent fight overall. They're both going back and forth in the grappling department, but ultimately Tatiana showed levels and got that submission victory. So shout out to her. You know, we expected this to be a decision victory, but she got the sub. Shout out to you, Tatiana Suarez. Next fight up, we had Matheus Gamrot versus Esteban Ribovics. We picked Matheus Gamrot despite me wanting Ribovics to win. He ended up losing. It was pretty easy for Matheus Gamrot. I'm not sure why people doubted him. He made it look pretty easy. He took him down with ease and controlled him, and then ultimately got that submission win. So good W for you, Matheus Gamrot. Next fight up, we had Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown. And in this fight, we had Randy Brown, but I told you guys this fight was 50-50. It could have gone either way. Either one of these guys could have come in here and won a decision. But Kevin Holland came in here and got that done. He landed the more strikes, was the more active fighter, threw the more punches. Ultimately, the judges gave him that decision nod. Good win for Kevin Holland. Randy Brown, you know, maybe next time. Next fight up, we had Patricio Pitbull versus Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico, in my eyes, throws a 30-27 shutout victory in this fight. He looked pretty well. He used his wrestling to his advantage in this fight. Took him down a couple times and got that victory here. Stayed composed, but early on, he did get hit with a couple shots. Pico definitely has a questionable chin, man. We got to talk about that in future fights. But good win nonetheless for Patricio Pitbull. Please don't put him against Power Puncher, because I can see him definitely getting knocked out again in the UFC level. But nonetheless, again, good win for Aaron Pico. Now the main card started with Cub Swanson versus Nate Landwehr. And Cub came in there, proving himself. Great retirement fight. He got that knockout in the very first round. Nate pretty much had no answers. Cub came in here aggressive, landing almost everything. And, you know, he got him out of there in the first round. So good fight for you, Cub Swanson. Retirement should be a good one. Dominic Reyes versus Johnny Walker. Now this fight did not go as expected. Everyone thought that this fight was going to be a banger. We expected a double knockout, let's be real, right? But that didn't go as planned. This fight was extremely boring. Both guys were playing chess out there, scared to get hit by each other, and ultimately we got this pathetic of a performance from both of them. Nonetheless, Reyes came in here and did his thing, but unfortunately it was a shitty fight overall. Good win for Dominic Reyes, I guess. Now next fight up, we had Curtis Blaydes versus Josh Hokett. And people doubted Josh, people hated his antics, but at the end of the day, it's entertainment, and he got the victory. He whooped Curtis Blaydes' ass, let's keep it real. It was a sloppy stand-up affair. Let's keep it a buck, but nonetheless, Josh Hokett came in there and whooped his ass. The striking was definitely semi-even or pretty much even, but when it came to damage, Josh Hokett was landing and doing the more damage against Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades couldn't take him down, couldn't do much. He fatigued later on in the fight, and Josh Hokett, just kept flipping him off, if you know what I mean, and showboating, and he got that victory. So shout out to Josh Hokett for getting it done. He looked pretty good out there. And now he's facing Derek Lewis at the White House. Isn't that kind of crazy? Like 1 year ago, Dana White Contender Series, and then next year I'm at the White House. Like, what a crazy run Josh Hokett is in. So let's see what happens at the White House. Next fight up, we had Azamat Murzakanov versus Paulo Costa. And Paulo Costa came in here and showed levels again. I doubted him. We picked Azamat to win here in this fight. But Paulo Costa definitely was on that secret juice. If you know, you know. And just simply outlanded Azamat, outpointed him. Eventually landed the more impactful shots and took him out in the third round. What another great performance from Paulo Costa. I'm just a little bit confused on what are we doing with him. He moved up in weight and got a dub against a top 10 prospect. A top 10 guy, I should say. But now he can go back down to 185 or stay at 205. And, well, we don't know what's his next opponent's going to be. But nonetheless, good win for Paulo Costa. And now for the main event of the evening, we had Jerry Prohaska versus Carlos Ulberg. And we went with Ulberg. And at the beginning, it looked ugly. Ulberg definitely injured his knee during the fight. I think his knee blew out during the fight. And Jerry was capitalizing. But Jerry fucked up, man. Jerry fucked up. Long story short, he started showboating. The win was there. All he had to do was keep kicking, be more patient. But unfortunately, he got aggressive. He got too antsy, got too hype, and eventually he got countered like we predicted he was going to be countered. Carlos Ulberg, good win. Way to persevere and show resiliency, I should say. Battling that knee pain and that knee injury and ultimately getting that counter shot and knockout blow. That was a good win for Carlos Ulberg. He is our new light heavyweight champion. So shout out to you, Carlos Ulberg. We did pretty good this event, 8-3-1, but let's keep it a buck. We went 9-2-1, or 9-2, I should say. That draw was not a draw. Fuck that. Chris Padilla definitely won, so our record is 9-2 for sure. But anyway, we're done with the recap. 327 was dope, like I said. And now we're off to Canada to break down the UFC Winnipeg card. Gilbert Burns versus Mike Malott. Let's get straight into it. Now with the first fight, we got Jamie Siraj versus John Yanis. And in this fight, this is basically a UFC debut guy versus a UFC rebound fight. Jamie Siraj, grapple heavy guy, submission guy, has decent hands, has good back takes, a good wrestler. He's decent enough to take down John, at least. John, a good striker with KO power who struggles against grapplers. And in this fight, guys, I think Giannis has the power advantage and possibly the striking advantage, but it might be a struggle when it comes to the grappling against Jamie. I'm assuming John Yanis has made zero improvements since his last fight. We all know his last fight. He got taken down by Bashi, and pretty much that was that. He lost a submission to him. I'm assuming he made zero improvements since that fight, if not, any. I see John having success early, I'll be honest, but ultimately getting taken down by Jamie Siraj, and Jamie Siraj ultimately is going to be able to control him on the mat, earn some control times, and possibly submit him down there. Jamie Siraj is a good submission guy, like I said earlier. Definitely grappler heavy. His specialty is basically taking your back and submitting you with a rear naked choke. And that's John Yanis' weakness. Let's keep it real. So, let me not waste your time. Jamie is from Canada. He should be motivated to get this win. So give me Jamie Siraj to win by decision or submission. Yeah, man. John Giannis, good power guy, good striker, but eventually it's going to go to the ground and Jamie Siraj to take over from there. So give me Jamie Siraj to get it done by TKO. Oops, sorry. No, give me Jamie Siraj to get it done by submission or decision. My bad. Next fight up, we got John Castaneda versus Mark Malott. And this one, guys, it's Castaneda, a proven UFC vet, versus Mark Malott, a young prospect making a big step up in competition from the Dana White Contender Series. Now, this one's going to be a good one. Castaneda, a well-rounded guy, can mix grappling and striking pretty well. And Mark, he's a dog, man. Explosive dog who pushes the pace and stays in your face while throwing those bombs, man. And in this fight, guys, I don't know, man. This one's going to be tricky. Something tells me Mark Malott is going to sneak a decision in this fight, but I don't know, man. I'm slightly leaning John Castaneda to get the win here. Man, I think his grappling and his wrestling should play a big factor in this fight. If he gets takedowns, he can neutralize the aggressiveness of Mark Malott in this fight. And I think when it comes to stand-up, I think they're going to be pretty much even. Don't get me wrong, Mark can come in here and stuff a couple of takedowns and be the guy with the more volume strikes and can edge out a victory, like I said. But there's a big experience gap here. John got the grappling edge. Mark struggled against this one dude in Dana White Contender Series. I forgot his name. Kept taking him down. And not to mention the cardio, man. Mark in the Dana White Contender Series during that third round, he was throwing a lot of shots, but that cardio was definitely depleted in that round. Obviously, you know, he threw like over 100 strikes and was getting beaten up, but that cardio is definitely questionable. So with that being said, man, you guys know where I'm leaning to. I got to go with John Castaneda to win a close decision here. It's going to be a tight one. Both guys are going to be back and forth. I wouldn't be surprised if we get to see another draw, but I can't let bias be the favorite in this pick. I was going to go with Mark Malott to win here, but that's only due to his performance in the Dana White Contender Series. But we'll see, man. We got a lot to see from Mark, and he has a lot to prove going against the veteran, like I said. So give me John Castaneda to edge out a close decision in this fight. 29-28, John Castaneda. Next fight up, we got Mitch Raposo versus Alan Nascimento, a young, well-rounded prospect versus an elite Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist. Now, in this fight, guys, it's going to be a hard one, man. Mitch Raposo, he's a well-rounded wrestler with good boxing skills. He's the more faster, more explosive fighter out of the two. And Alan Nascimento, he's a BJJ nerd who isn't really great at stand-up, but he could hold his own. His takedown defense is pretty bad, but let's be real, he wants to be down there. He wants to be taken down so you can be in his world, in his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world, where he can scramble you out and, get that submission victory down there. But this one's going to be a tough one, man. Mitch definitely has the wrestling game to take down Alan Nascimento. But I'm just scared, is that the proper game plan out here that you should bring against Alan Nascimento? Or should you just keep it standing and hope you out-volley him and out-strike him on the feet? So that one's going to be tricky, man. I can see a world where Mitch Raposo takes him down multiple times and avoids being submitted, ultimately getting that decision victory here. But I can also see a world where, the stand-up affair is pretty even, and Mitch eventually tries to go for a takedown, and let's be real, all Alan Nascimento needs is one mistake. And if you give him that one mistake, there goes your neck, there goes your arm, there goes your leg. Whatever it is, Alan Nascimento can come in here and submit Mitch Raposo at ease. So like I said, it's all he needs is that simple one mistake. Mitch Raposo would have to fight a perfect 15 minutes in my eyes, using his boxing, using his wrestling, and try to dig out a decision in this fight, but it's going to be very hard to ask, man. Ali Nascimento is the pick. I'm counting on the skill gap on the ground to be the deciding factor in this fight. Like I said, if it goes to the ground, Ali Nascimento is going to show levels against Mitch Raposo. Mitch Raposo isn't really the greatest. Has had some great fights nonetheless, regardless of his L's. But Ali Nascimento should come in here and get taken down, I should say. And eventually, once he gets taken down, he's going to scramble his way to his back and get that submission victory. But, it can go either way. We'll see. Give me Ali Nascimento to get it done by submission. But I won't be surprised if Mitch gets it done. Take my pick with a grain of salt, guys. Next fight up, guys, we got J.J. Aldrich versus Jamie Lynn Horf. Now, this one's an easy one for me, I'll be honest. Jamie Lynn Horf has been looking great lately. I can't really deny her here. She's at home against J.J. Aldrich. And J.J. Aldrich isn't really the greatest. So I think Jamie Lynn Horf can come in here, outstrike J.J. Aldrich, possibly KO her, or just get an easy cruise-style victory, 30-27. So I don't really want to waste your time. It's going to be a short breakdown. Give me Jamie Lynn Horf to get it done by knockout or decision. J.J. Aldrich is simply not it. And Jamie Lynn Horf is slightly better than her. So Jamie Lynn Horf by TKO or decision. We quickly move on. Next fight up, we got another ladies fight. We got Melissa Cronin versus Daria Silinyakova, whatever her last name is. Now this one's going to be a good one. Both of these fighters are even. To me, Melissa has a slight grappling advantage in this fight, but I don't know, man. I'm slightly leaning the dog here, believe it or not. I think this fight is going to remain on the feet for the most part, and I'm giving the slight lean to Daria in this fight. I think Daria can definitely make the most of her stand-up. I think she can land the cleaner and harder punches against Melissa and try to win here. Man, I know Melissa can take her down and maybe control her on the ground, but I'm going to be honest with you, she struggles to even take down any girl. Like, her wrestling attempts aren't really the cleanest. I think she only averages like one takedown per fight anyway, so I think majority of this fight is going to take place in the feet. And I got to give the edge to the kickboxer, guys. Like, this one's going to be a toss-up. But, man, I got to go with Daria. I got to go with her. I can see her avoiding some takedowns and, like I said, landing the better strikes in the feet. This fight is 50-50, but I'm going to go with dog or pass on this one. Daria should edge out a victory, in my honest opinion. Both these fighters aren't really the greatest, man, but this should be a good fight nonetheless, man. Give me Daria to win another tight fight, 29-28 against Melissa here. But hey, I won't be shocked if it goes the other way. Melissa Cronin is in Canada. She is from there. But Daria should be the more gritty fighter. And she should definitely win here. So give me Daria to win by decision, 29-28. Next fight up, we got Tanner Bosner versus Gokhan Sadakam. That dude got a cool name, right? Kind of sounds like Gohan, but Gokhan. But whatever. Tanner Bosner, kickboxer, base boxer, good volume striker who uses combinations at range versus Gokhan, pressure style heavyweight guy who has the physical edge on his side. And in this fight, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and lean Gokhan to win by Kamehameha. JK, you know what I mean. Gokhan to win by TKO. Based on what I've seen from the tape, man, I think Gokhan is going to overwhelm Bosner on the feet, not allowing Bosner to use his technical skills against him. I think he's going to use his physicality to his advantage. If he wants to take it to the ground, he could take it to the ground. He's very physical, very strong. I think he could definitely take Bosner to the cage and control on the cage. If not, like I said, take it down. Bosner has to keep it technical, has to use his jab and keep his distance against Gokhan, or things are going to be pretty tricky for him. But like I said, I got Gokhan overwhelming in this fight, landing the bigger shots. Look at him, like he seems to be the bigger beast, the bigger problem. And I know this is going to be his debut, and we haven't seen him against tough talent. I know Bosner has fought way better talent, but man, Bosner's at home in Canada, but unfortunately, this is the only reason you're here fighting. It's because you are from Canada. I don't think you're one of the best Canadian prospects, I should say. I think you're one of the gatekeepers / washed ones. So, yeah, I think Gokhan's going to use his physicality definitely to his advantage. Use that size to his advantage and ultimately get the win here. So, give me Gokhan to knock your ass out in Canada, and it's going to be glorious. So, give me Gokhan to win by knockout. Next fight up, we got Robert Valentine versus Julian LeBlanc. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is low-level UFC fighters here. Robert hasn't gotten a win in the UFC, while Julian LeBlanc is making his debut. So you guys kind of see it. It's kind of like a setup spot for Julian LeBlanc to get a dub here in his hometown of Canada. But it ain't going to be easy considering Julian LeBlanc is low level. Like I mentioned earlier, both these guys are low level. Julian LeBlanc has fought nobody. Straight cans off the regional scene. Meanwhile, Robert, he hasn't won in the UFC. Also only has wins over cans. His gas tank stinks. His IQ isn't really there. And Julian LeBlanc has a lot to prove. So I got to go ahead and side with Julian LeBlanc, man. This fight's going to be 50-50. Robert is definitely fighting for his job now, being 0-3 in the UFC, can possibly now fall to 0-4. So I genuinely expect him to bring everything to this fight in hopes to not get cut after this fight. So Robert Valentine should be bringing the heat in this fight, but who knows? That scares me. That tells me you got a lot to bring and you might gas out again, but who knows what type of improvements Robert has made. I got to go ahead and lean Julian LeBlanc to get it done in his hometown. Avoid the grappling exchanges from Robert. Land the better shots. Hope Valentine gasses out like he does or makes a mistake due to his low IQ. And capitalize in your hometown. Edge out a victory. So give me Julian LeBlanc to get it done by decision. Again, low-level fight. Stay away. Enjoy it. Both these guys have a lot to prove. But anyway, Julian LeBlanc by decision. Next fight up, we got Dennis Bazooka versus Marcio Barbosa. Now this fight is pretty easy to predict for me. I'm going to be honest. We got a guy that has 14 knockouts versus a guy named Dennis Bazooka who recently struggled against Francis Marshall, I think his last fight was. And Francis Marshall dropped him, if I'm not mistaken. And that dude doesn't really have the best power or the most power. And now they gave you Marcio Barbosa, a guy who has nothing but power in those hands. So this one's pretty easy for me, man. Dennis Bazooka, if you don't avoid the strikes from Marcio Barbosa, you are going to get knocked out in the first or second round. If you do, I think you still will lose a decision to Marcio Barbosa. I think he's better than you in mostly everything, everywhere on the mat. The momentum's on Marcio Barbosa's side, so like I said, this one's an easy one for me. Marcio Barbosa should clean him out, land the better shots, land the more volume, possibly knock him out, like I said. But we'll see. This one should be easy, and the odds indicate that. Give me Marcio Barbosa to get it done by knockout or a late decision. Or a decision in general. But whatever. Give me Marcio Barbosa to get it done. Next fight up, we got Thiago Moises versus Gage Young. Now, this one should be tricky. Thiago Moises is a great Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy. Got 8 submission wins. And Gage, a young, scrappy, well-rounded prospect. No pun intended to his name, but Gage Young, you know what I mean. In this fight, I'm leaning Gage Young, guys. I simply think he can avoid the takedowns from Moises and be the more volume puncher in this fight. ultimately getting that decision victory against Thiago Moises. Don't get me wrong, Thiago Moises has fought way better guys. Is definitely the veteran in this sport compared to the prospect and Gage Young. But Thiago Moises wins some, lose some, wins some, lose some. Don't get me wrong, he has notable wins like I think he beat Costa and Alexander Hernandez, if I'm not mistaken. But man, he's so inconsistent. He wins against people you think he would lose to, and he would lose to people you think he would win. And this is one of those guys that you should be able to beat in Gage Young, but simply I think you lose. I think Gage Young's takedown defense is pretty good. I think his striking is slightly better than Moises, if not even. So if Moises can't take you down, I think you become one-dimensional and you become a somewhat crappier striker out of the two. So Gage Young's definitely got the dog in him. Definitely hungrier. Got momentum on his side. And, the sky's the limit for Gage Young. As for Moises, we know who you are. We know what your ceiling is. And it ain't it. So Gage Young should come in here, like I said, avoid the takedowns, land the better shots, and definitely edge out a gritty decision here. So give me Gage Young to get it done by decision. Next fight up, we got Jasmine Judavicius versus Karine Silva. Now this one is a pressure wrestler versus an elite submission hunter. Now this one's going to be tough. I'm not sure what Jasmine's going to show up, considering that she did get knocked out by Marion Fiorot her last time out. So I'm a little bit hesitant. I'm kind of scared that she's going to come in here and not kind of be the same, not perform the same due to the knockout. But thankfully for Jasmine, Karine Silva isn't the most knockout power type of girl. She's more of a submission type of girl. But that low-key scares me too, considering that Jasmine is basically a wrestler and you have to take Karine Silva down in this fight. Not exactly have to. I can see Jasmine outstriking her on the feet. But let's be real, Jasmine's going to try to take her down. But that's her world down there. Karine Silva can definitely, snatch up some sort of choke, some sort of grip on the wrist or something, and attempt a submission while on the ground, and probably can get it. She's definitely elite on the ground, so I'm a little bit scared on that part. She would have to avoid being submitted for a couple rounds, and she can do that. I think she's levels above Karine Silva, but like I said, I'm just a little bit afraid of how she's going to perform after that knockout. But Jasmine's at home. She should get it done. Hopefully the pressure of being at home and coming from that loss, like I said, doesn't get to her. She should be able to take her down multiple times, land the better shots, and simply stay active in this fight, getting her that decision victory against Karine Silva. So I see just that. I see Jasmine winning at 30-27 against Karine Silva. Karine Silva's only path to victory is to snatch up a submission and get some scrambles in while down there. But it's a hard ask. I think Jasmine's definitely going to get it done. So give me Jasmine Judavicius to get it done 30-27 on the scorecards. This should be easy. Jasmine Judavicius, please don't be scared. Please do your thing. Next fight up, we got Mandel Nalo versus Jai Herbert. Now this one's going to be a banger, or at least we hope so. Not like Dominic Reyes and Johnny Walker. Mando Nalo, solid prospect coming out of the Dana White Contender Series. He's a JJ base guy with some heavy hands versus the vet, the always dangerous Jai Herbert. This one should be good, like I said. This one's definitely going to be a chess match. Both these guys are good on the feet. They can throw some good shots. But in this fight, man, I gotta lean Nalo to get it done. His pressure and pace and his finishing urgency should play a huge factor in this fight. I think he's definitely the stronger one out of the two as well. If things get messy, I think Manel Nalo can also take him down Like I mentioned earlier, he is a grappler. He has a grappling base, I should say. As for Jai Herbert, man, great striker. Can definitely keep the distance, jab up Mando Nalo, and use those kicks to the body to keep the distance as well. Can definitely see a path to victory if Jai Herbert stays the distance, like I said, and outpoints him. But this one's going to be hard. I think the power of Mando Nalo is going to be a factor here, man. I think this fight remains on the feet for a majority of the time, and I think the damage is going to add up. And Mando Nalo is going to possibly knock out Jai Herbert within the first 2 rounds. If not, it becomes an outpointing type of chess match, and I still got Nalo winning a decision, probably 2-1, 2 rounds to 1. But I gotta go ahead and lean Mando Nalo anyway. The more damaging strikes are gonna be landed by him. Like I said, he can take him down if he wanted to. Jai Herbert is kind of declining in his career, and the young prospect Mando Nalo is rising. So I'm going to go ahead and lean with the momentum. Mando Nalo to get it done by knockout or decision. We'll see what happens. Jai Herbert's still a solid guy. But give me Mando Nalo to get it done. We got the co-main event of the evening. Kyler Phillips versus Charles Jourdain. Now, I'm a little bit heartbroken on this one. Big fan of both guys. Kyler Phillips, explosive kickboxer with underrated grappling versus Charles Jourdain. Wild striker, can throw multiple limbs at you, knees, kicks, punches, whatever. Good submission guy, creative in grappling as well. But Phillips is coming off back-to-back losses while Charles is building momentum. This fight should be good, but I'm going to be honest, man. I'm currently leaning Kyler Phillips, another dog, to get it done here. I'm a bit scared. I know Charles Jourdain is from Canada. He's been looking good lately. But Kyler Phillips is more reliable, man. He has better structure, better defense, and more reliable when it comes to like winning rounds. I can see him control this fight with feints, takedowns, and the clean counters. Jourdain has to be aggressive early, has to throw body kicks, leg kicks, throw Kyler Phillips, I should say, off rhythm, and then ultimately set up his scrambles when it comes to the grappling. But, man, I got Kyler Phillips bouncing back here. I think it should be a close fight, but Kyler Phillips should avoid those takedowns from Charles Jourdain, should avoid those scrambling exchanges, be the cleaner guy in the stand-up. Hopefully this fight stays standing up in the feet for majority of the time, and I think it will. If it gets taken down on the ground, like I said, I think Kyler Phillips will be the guy doing that. And as long as you avoid the submission attempts for Jourdain and those unorthodox striking, I think he should be good. Kyler Phillips has proven to be the sharper guy on the feet, so I gotta go ahead and lean Kyler Phillips despite the recent L's that he's been taking. So give me the dog, man. Kyler Phillips to upset Canadians' own Charles Jourdain. Give me Kyler Phillips to get it done by decision, guys. Now for the main event of the evening, we got Gilbert Burns versus Mike Malott. Now hear me out, man. I want Gilbert Burns to win. He can come in here, take down Malott, show levels on the ground, and edge out a decision. But he's 0-4 in his last 4 fights. And now he's fighting Mike Malott, or whatever his name is, in his hometown of Canada. And I think, unfortunately, he comes in here and dominates Gilbert Burns. Unfortunately, I think Gilbert Burns' time is done. As much as I want him to get one more win and possibly retire after this, I think he drops to 0-5 and retires after this, man. Unfortunately, Gilbert Burns, we had a good run. You almost beat Jack. You almost beat Hamza Chimaev, but the prime is over. You haven't been looked the same in quite some time. But we'll see what happens. So I got to go ahead and take Mike Malott to get it done by TKO or decision in this fight. Just in case Gilbert Burns turns the clock and takes him down, maybe edging out a round or two. I think Mike Malott, sorry I keep butchering his name. I think he breaks him down, boys, and ultimately gets that finish, or if not, edges out a decision victory. Man, big fan of Gilbert, but you guys know where I'm leaning. So give me Mike Malott to get it done by knockout or decision. I'm sorry, Gilbert. I'm sorry.